welcome back to our channel, dear viewers. Today is a beautiful day to dive deep into the scandalous, high-stakes drama unfolding in Genoa City. We have an incredibly tense and thrilling analysis prepared for you today, so sit back, relax, and let us unravel the latest treacherous web spun by our favorite daytime billionaires. The corporate landscape of Genoa City has always been a treacherous battlefield, but the current war for control of Newman Enterprises has escalated into a realm of unprecedented legal and moral peril. Victor Newman and his daughter, Victoria Newman, are currently navigating a high-wire act of staggering proportions, risking their very freedom to reclaim the family empire from the clutches of Phyllis Summers. This is no longer a simple boardroom skirmish. It has morphed into a dangerous game of digital forgery and malicious prosecution. The sheer magnitude of the risk they are undertaking cannot be overstated, as they have willingly crossed the line from ruthless business tactics into the territory of severe federal felonies. By utilizing a highly sophisticated artificial intelligence program to fabricate incriminating emails and financial documents, the Newman patriarch has orchestrated a masterclass in deception. However, this master plan is built on a fragile house of cards, one that threatens to collapse and bury both Victor and Victoria beneath a mountain of criminal charges. The genesis of this catastrophic scheme lies in Victor Newman's absolute refusal to accept defeat, especially at the hands of Phyllis Summers. When Phyllis outmaneuvered him and seized control of the Summers conglomerate, Victor weaponized the very fabric of digital truth. He commissioned the creation of an advanced artificial intelligence program, initially utilizing it to dismantle Kane Ashby's corporate standing, and has now turned its devastating capabilities directly onto Phyllis. This AI software was meticulously designed to generate flawless, yet entirely fictitious, evidence painting a damning picture of corporate espionage. Victor's willingness to deploy such a dangerous tool highlights a terrifying evolution in his methodology, actively rewriting reality and demonstrating a chilling disregard for the boundaries of the law. While Victor is the undeniable architect of this digital conspiracy, Victoria Newman is far from a passive observer. She has firmly established herself as the active conduit for her father's malice, willingly stepping into the line of fire to execute his vision. Victoria physically delivered this meticulously crafted, yet entirely fraudulent, evidence into the hands of the newly reinstated district attorney, Christine Blair Romalotti. By doing so, Victoria has crossed a point of no return, inextricably linking her own fate to the success or failure of this legal endeavor. Her involvement is not merely a matter of familial loyalty. It is a manifestation of her blinding ambition and her desperate need to secure her father's elusive approval. Victoria has allowed her desire to sit on the Newman throne to override her moral compass. The psychological state of Victoria Newman during this crisis is a fascinating study in compartmentalization and moral decay. She has completely detached herself from the catastrophic ripple effects of her actions, demonstrating a chilling apathy toward the lives she is destroying. The arrest of Kane Ashby, directly caused by the fabricated evidence she provided, has indefinitely delayed a life-saving bone marrow transplant for Malcolm Winters, yet Victoria remains unmoved. Furthermore, her willingness to implicate Billy Abbott, the father of her children, reveals a shocking level of ruthlessness. She is actively prioritizing the reclamation of a corporate entity over the freedom of her former partner, completely ignoring the massive legal guillotine suspended directly above her own head. Adding a layer of profound irony to this convoluted legal nightmare is the undeniable fact that Phyllis Summers and Kane Ashby are not entirely innocent victims in the broader narrative of the Newman takeover. The history of this corporate war is stained with actual misdeeds, as Phyllis did indeed resort to extreme and illegal measures to seize the company in the first place. It is a matter of record that Phyllis utilized a sedative to incapacitate Kane, preventing him from finalizing a transfer of power back to Victor, and subsequently orchestrated her own hostile takeover. The underlying truth is that Phyllis and Kane did conspire to steal Newman Enterprises before their fragile alliance inevitably fractured. However, the current legal peril they face is not based on these actual crimes, but rather on the fictitious narrative generated by Victor's artificial intelligence program, creating a truly bizarre legal paradox. This paradox strikes at the very heart of the judicial system, creating a precarious situation where the truth of the original crime is entirely overshadowed by the fraudulent nature of the prosecution's evidence. In a court of law, it is completely irrelevant whether Phyllis Summers is a corporate thief in a general sense. What matters is whether the specific documents and emails presented by the district attorney are authentic and admissible. Victor and Victoria have fundamentally misunderstood the nature of legal jeopardy, assuming that their righteous anger justifies their illegal methods. They have built a prosecution on a foundation of sand, failing to realize that the moment the authenticity of their AI-generated evidence is successfully challenged, their entire case will evaporate. The legal system demands authentic proof, and by introducing forged digital documents, the Newmans have unknowingly handed their enemies the perfect weapon. Enter Michael Baldwin, a man whose brilliant legal mind and complicated history with the Newman family make him the ultimate wild card in this explosive scenario. Having served as Victor Newman's trusted fixer for decades, Michael possesses an intimate understanding of the patriarch's ruthless tactics and boundless arrogance. However, Michael is now standing firmly in the corner of his longtime confidant, Phyllis Summers, tasked with the seemingly impossible job of saving her from a lengthy stay in federal prison. Michael is acutely aware that the evidence against Phyllis appears overwhelmingly damning on the surface, but his sharp intellect has already recognized the fatal flaw in Victor's plan. He knows that the only viable path to victory, the only strategy that can save Phyllis from ruin, is to systematically dismantle the artificial intelligence forgery and expose the evidence as a malicious, calculated fabrication. This strategic pivot places Michael Baldwin in an agonizing crucible of internal conflict and professional danger. By choosing to actively prove that Victor and Victoria Newman orchestrated a massive fraud against the district attorney's office, Michael is essentially declaring all-out war against the most powerful family in Genoa City. He has already drawn Victor's intense ire simply by agreeing to represent Phyllis, but exposing the AI conspiracy will undoubtedly provoke a level of retaliation that could destroy Michael's career and personal life. He must balance his fierce, unwavering loyalty to Phyllis against the terrifying reality of Victor's wrath. The process of proving digital forgery in a court of law will require meticulous forensic analysis, expert testimony, and a relentless legal assault on the chain of custody of the documents Victoria handed over, making it a high-stakes gamble with unimaginable consequences. The domino effect of a potential exposure by Michael Baldwin is what makes this storyline so incredibly tense and captivating. If Michael's legal team successfully proves that the emails and financial records were generated by artificial intelligence, the immediate legal peril will violently shift away from Phyllis Summers and Kane Ashby, landing squarely on the shoulders of Victor and Victoria Newman. The district attorney, Christine Blair Romalotti, is a woman of fierce moral conviction who will not take kindly to being used as a pawn in a billionaire's vendetta. The realization that she was handed fabricated evidence to pursue false charges will undoubtedly ignite a furious, unrelenting investigation into the origins of that evidence. The hunters will instantaneously become the hunted, as the full weight of the Genoa City judicial system turns its gaze toward the Newman ranch, trapping them in a nightmare of their own making. The psychological terror of this impending reversal of fortune is a fascinating concept to explore, particularly regarding the notoriously untouchable Newman patriarch and his equally arrogant daughter. For decades, Victor Newman has operated under the steadfast belief that his wealth, influence, and sheer force will elevate him above the laws that govern ordinary citizens. The mere thought of facing genuine legal consequences, of being stripped of his power and subjected to the humiliation of a criminal trial, is anathema to his very existence. Similarly, Victoria has wrapped herself in a cloak of corporate invincibility, genuinely believing that her actions are justified by her birthright. Visualizing the sheer, unadulterated shock and catastrophic humiliation that would wash over them if the Genoa City Police Department were to arrive at Newman Enterprises with arrest warrants is an absolutely thrilling and delicious prospect. Conversely, one can only imagine the sheer, vindictive joy and unparalleled satisfaction that such an event would bring to Phyllis Summers. Phyllis has spent her entire adult life locked in a bitter, grueling war of attrition with Victor Newman, constantly battling his attempts to control, manipulate, and destroy her. She is currently enduring the terrifying prospect of losing her freedom, her children, and her empire due to his malicious machinations. If Michael Baldwin successfully turns the tables, allowing Phyllis to walk free while Victor and Victoria are arrested for their fraudulent scheme, it would be the ultimate euphoric reversal of fortune. Phyllis would undoubtedly relish every single second of their downfall, likely securing a front row seat to watch them be perp walk out of their glass tower. The internal vindication of watching her greatest abusers finally face the consequences of their own arrogance would be incredibly sweet. However, despite the thrilling potential of this legal boomerang, observers of Genoa City's power dynamics must acknowledge the historical context of Newman invincibility. It is a cynical reality that billionaires rarely face long-term incarceration. The Newman family possesses an uncanny ability to evade the true weight of justice, utilizing vast financial resources and political connections to wriggle out of legal traps. Even if the evidence is proven to be an AI-generated forgery, Victor will undoubtedly deploy a legion of attorneys to deflect blame. perhaps sacrificing a lower-level executive to shield himself and his daughter from the fallout. History dictates that the Newmans rarely pay the ultimate price for their transgressions, but the journey there is spectacular. On a deeply personal level, watching this storyline unfold evokes a visceral, almost maddening sense of frustration mixed with an undeniable, thrilling anticipation. There is something profoundly unsettling about witnessing the absolute moral decay of a family that wields so much power. Watching them casually destroy lives and manipulate the justice system without a single shred of genuine remorse. It makes my blood boil to see the sheer hypocrisy of Victor and Victoria playing the victims while actively orchestrating a fraudulent, life-destroying conspiracy. Yet, beneath that righteous anger lies a desperate, burning wish for karma to finally, definitively strike. I find myself holding my breath during every scene, yearning for that elusive moment of poetic justice where the arrogance is stripped away, and the cold, hard steel of handcuffs finally closes around Newman's wrists. It is a captivating, emotionally exhausting experience that highlights the brilliant tension of this drama. As the walls close in, the ultimate question hangs heavily over Genoa City. Will Michael Baldwin's desperate gamble to expose the artificial intelligence forgery succeed, or will Victor's machinations permanently bury his enemies? The stage is set for a spectacular collision of truth and corporate survival. Will the untouchable Newmans finally face the music, or will they dance away from the wreckage? Stay tuned, because the real battle has only just begun.